Hey everybody, I'm Jesse, and welcome to another edition of Gen X Thinks. And today I'm just going to talk about some random bullshit. A few different topics. And the number one topic is this thing with Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg's 180-degree turn on censorship and all that. Now, if you remember, before the election, he was coming out and talking about how he apologized to the people for censoring them and for silencing certain groups and all this stuff, basically MAGA, Trump supporters, whatever. And this was before the election. And now, after the election, he's coming out and saying that he's going to copy Elon Musk and X and get rid of the fact checkers and put in community notes so that we can call out with community notes if something's bullshit. If you don't use X, that community notes is a really cool thing. It's the users that post it, not some behind the scenes fact checkers who are paid by whoever, you know what I mean? They could just be paid and say and censor whoever they want, one political side or the other. But if you let the community do it, it's just, it's just a lot better. There's less bias, there's less, but anyway, that's a good thing. And Zuckerberg said that he's gonna stop with the censorship and just let accounts grow naturally and all that. And basically, he's copying Elon Musk with X, basically. And this does not surprise me at all. It didn't. If you have a big thing like Facebook, with a lot of people using it and a lot of people posting their opinions and stuff, you can basically see who's going to win an election, right? You got a 50-50 split, Democrats, Republicans, and there's just a vast majority of people who support Trump on your platform. You can basically tell beforehand who's going to win the election. And for him to flip-flop and go with, the majority, the tide, it doesn't surprise me at all. They're about making money. They need people to support their platform, and he can see which direction things are going. And all of the millions of people who are using X now, X is just, it's just the hottest thing going right now because of the freedom. Basically, there's a lot of freedom there. You say what you want. Nobody is going to yank your shit. Now, within reason, there was, I haven't seen it in a while, but there was a thing saying that people were being, their accounts were being banned and stuff. But I don't know what they posted. You just can't post heinous and crazy shit on there. You know what I'm saying? It's within reason. So I don't know. I haven't, that whole thing kind of died away. It didn't spread and say, like Facebook did. Remember Facebook with all of the censorship and all that, and YouTube and all of the censorship? That was just kind of a flash in the pan thing where some people said they were being censored and then it kind of went away. So, but Facebook and YouTube, they're known, diehard, politically biased platforms, censoring one side and allowing the other to just say whatever they want, no matter how blatantly false it is. So there's a huge difference there. So it does not surprise me that he would do this. Another thing he did, some of you might not know, is that he actually appointed Dana White. And Dana White is the head of the UFC. He's the guy that runs the UFC. He doesn't own it, but he's like the CEO or something. He appointed Dana White into the board, whatever, the Meta board, the Facebook board, right, of board of directors. And Dana White is a big time MAGA Trump supporter. So there's no telling what that's all about if Dana White is selling out or if Mark Zuckerberg is trying to get, just trying to get real people in there. I don't know. The whole thing, it's great, don't get me wrong, on one side of the coin, but on the other side of the coin, it just smells fishy. I don't trust billionaires, just like with Elon Musk, although Elon Musk has been pro freedom of speech this whole time, and he's outspoken about things, about humanity, about the population, about right and wrong, about immigration. So there's a big difference between what's happening now with Zuckerberg and Elon Musk. Zuckerberg has been pro-censorship, anti-free speech, pro-immigration, pro-carbon tax and all this stuff this whole time. Now all of a sudden he's completely done 180 degrees. It hasn't been a over the years a red pill kind of thing, you know what I mean, where he's slowly waking up, which I witnessed with Elon Musk. I witnessed it happen on X, where he slowly started coming around on other topics besides freedom of speech. I mean, that's specifically why he bought Twitter, was to save freedom of speech, he said. But that'd be great if Mark Zuckerberg is all of a sudden becoming a patriot and, a freedom lover, because I am all about freedom for everyone. And if these billionaires start jumping on the bandwagon, if Elon Musk is actually starting a movement among billionaires, how sweet would that be? That'd be freaking awesome. So I'm skeptical, but kind of optimistic, hopeful. I'll take that back. I'm not optimistic. I'm hopeful, but skeptical on this whole Facebook Mark Zuckerberg thing. I myself have just witnessed too much censorship on there. And I don't even mess with it too much. Just, a little bit of this channel promotion is basically all I do. And it doesn't do me much good. So, but anyway, and the next thing I'd like to talk about is I see this thing, I keep seeing this post, not the same post, but this thing that's said in these posts is that Americans are all standing on stolen ground. So how can we be against immigration? It's just horrible that we could be against immigration. All these immigrants should just be able to pour into our country because this country wasn't ours to begin with. All right. And that is probably the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Really, it got to be up there in the top 3 most ridiculous things I've ever heard. The old saying is that a smart man learns from his mistakes, but a wise man learns from other people's mistakes. Okay? So we see what happened to the Native Americans, the choices they made back then, the choices that the United States government and stuff made back then, it was basically atrocities. I mean, we can't pull any punches and tiptoe around this shit. I mean, the Native Americans back then were treated horribly, and because they allowed immigration. Okay, so for us to know that and to allow the same thing to happen again would be beyond stupid. Just beyond stupid. It would. So just because people in the past made a mistake, the left says that we should make the same mistake. We should do the same thing that they did because they were victimized. We should be victims too. That makes sense to them. Somehow in their logic, whatever, if they have any, that makes sense to them. Because someone was victimized in the past, you should be a victim too. but I didn't victimize them. Somebody else did. Not even my forefather. My family didn't come over here until early 1900s. Except for the Native American part of my family, the Nez Perce, they were here. So I have absolutely nothing to do with that. Not even any of my forefathers had anything to do with that. So why on earth would I want the same fate? Why would I want the same fate for the Native Americans who are living here now, for them to have to live through it again? You're going to make them go through it twice. They're people. We're going to have another invasion. And the ancestors, the progeny of those people that had to go through it, now their great grandkids are going to have to go through it. You think that what do you think that those great grandparents advice they would give to their kids right now? They would tell them to seal the damn borders. Do not let those people in. Do not make the same mistakes we made. I mean, honestly, it's just common damn sense. This is ridiculous. We're allowing an invasion. And every single one of us, if we're speaking honestly, if we got transported back in time, and if we've read any history and know anything about what happened, we'd be there, and if we were Native Americans, we'd be there on the shore waiting for them boats to show up, and we'd be slinging arrows at them as soon as they got off their boats. We wouldn't even let them step foot on the soil. Now, is that how we want our great grandchildren to think? That I wish that my great grandparents would have stopped this. I wish that they would have stopped this. I wish my forefathers would not have allowed this to happen. It's just on its face, it's ridiculous. And it's ridiculous for us, knowing our history, to allow it to happen again. Yes, the details might be a little different. They're coming over here, but still, the original Pilgrims, they came over here peacefully and stuff. It's not until they started setting up governments and stuff and becoming groups of larger and larger people, then they started attacking the Indians. They didn't come over here getting off their boats and attacking the Indians right off the bat, firing muskets right off the boat. They come over here and befriended them, wanted to mix cultures and stuff. And then a couple generations later, they declared all-out war on the Native Americans. So it's almost the exact same thing. These people are just now getting into high government positions. They're forming groups and injecting their culture into our culture. And for those who don't see that and don't understand that, you don't understand history and what is happening. And I'm sorry to say it, but in my honest opinion, Donald Trump is not a savior. Yes, he can start. He can begin the change. He can begin it, but he cannot do it. He cannot fix the entire problem. We must stay vigilant. We must vote in the primaries, the midterms that are coming up, and get more common sense Americans into those places so they can cast common sense votes for America and we the people, period. Because think about it like this. If our government has all this technology and all of this stuff, right? Technology we've never heard of. What is going to happen when these foreigners, these people of different culture who hate us and despise us and want us dead, when they get in these high government positions and get control of this technology and this power? That's not a large stretch of the imagination. It's happening already. Call me racist if you want, but I love my country. It's not my fault that these people coming over here happen to be a different skin color than I do. If they were white like me, I'd be saying the same thing. It's a cultural thing. It's about culture. I'd rather have a black or Native American or Hispanic, true-blooded American patriot, freedom-loving American patriot in there than some white Islamist. That's just how I feel. And on that thing there, on that subject, I had a few people in the comments after my Sharia law video started talking about religion. And I know I did brush on religion just briefly there, but honestly, religion has nothing to do with it. The only thing I was trying to point out that their culture still embraces those ancient barbaric laws, religious laws, okay, that sprung from religion. I can't help it. They sprung from their religion. Now, Western civilization abandoned that shit. We don't stone witches. We don't, behead adulteresses. We don't do all this barbaric shit anymore. They do. But religion has nothing to do with it. It's about culture, their culture. Now, over here, to grab a little girl off the street and drag her off and have your way with her, that's frowned upon. We don't like that. That's horrible. Over there, in their culture, that's okay. That's a perfectly normal thing to do. That's not, they would be surprised, and I've seen them on video. They're surprised when they're questioned about it. What do you mean? That's my right. It's literally like us, just walking a dog or something. If somebody comes out and starts shouting at you for walking your dog in a dog park, like, what are you talking about? This is ridiculous. That's how they feel about abducting children. What are you talking about? That's ridiculous. I can do what I want. It's culture. And that culture is being injected into Western civilization. Not just America, not just Canada, not just Australia, all of it. England and Germany are in dire straits with this shit because they've allowed it. Their government has sold them out. They have screwed over the common person. And this isn't going to go away because Donald Trump got elected. I hate to break it to y'all, but that's just the truth. They're not going to throw their hands up and say, "Oh, we lost. Y'all have a good rest of eternity. We'll just go away." Not going to happen. Maybe they'll get their puppets like Zuckerberg to claim to support free speech now and be doing some really dirty, underhanded shit behind the curtain. I don't know. Maybe a bunch of billionaires are going to jump up and start shouting for free speech in America and all this stuff. And supporting all these, throwing all financial backing behind these completely American patriotic politicians. But when they get in office, they're going to open the borders again. And that's what I'm saying. We need to start at home with homegrown politicians, people that we know, and raise them up. Not voting for some politician who's saying all the right things, but is backed by these billion-dollar corporations. These billion-dollar corporations do not have our best interests at heart. And I'm talking about Western civilization. And if you'll notice, I've had a common thread throughout this all my videos. It's about culture and it's about Western civilization. It's not just about America or Germany or Greece. It's not about one country. It's not about religion. It's about culture, and it's about good versus evil. Flat out evil. Because raping a child is flat out evil. We all know it. To debate that and I just believe that allowing 10 million people over here, all right, and 99.999% of them are good, and one child gets raped because of it, right, then that's a bad thing. That's a bad decision. I don't care how many of those people have to stay home. I don't care how much help they need, what kind of financial situation they're in Pakistan or El Salvador or wherever they are. No child gets raped. Period. Not in America. Not in Australia. Not in Canada. Keep them out. Period. And that's they want to do away with the death penalty because one person might get convicted and they're innocent, right? They don't want to subject one person to that death penalty, one innocent person to that death penalty, so they want to abolish the death penalty. All right? It's the same line of thought. I don't want one person to be raped, to be murdered by illegal immigrants. So abolish it all. Don't let them come over here. Unless they are vetted. I mean vetted. And can prove that they love America. And by that, I mean leave everything behind. Leave your family behind. Leave your culture behind. Leave everything behind. And to do that, we need to completely shut down immigration 100% and start over from scratch. That's where I stand on it. Because not because I am against immigration, not because I am against people of color, because I am against any of these other things. It's because I am against child molestation, rape, and murder. That's what I'm against. I don't give a shit if they worship Zeus, Apollo, Odin, Ragnarok. I don't care. I don't care what they worship. I don't care what color they are. None of those stupid things that the leftists like to point to matter. They never point to anything that matters. Rape matters. Child molestation matters. Murder matters. These things matter. That's why they are ignored by the left and the media. Completely ignored. You don't hear about it. Watch some of that shit, if you dare. And another thing is that these governments, the British government and all that stuff, now they're getting all mad at Elon Musk, right? Because he's pointing a finger at him and saying y'all have been allowing all this child molesting and stuff because you don't want to be called racist. And that's just a fact. It's true. Because they've got it documented why they didn't arrest these people, why they have allowed it. They've said it. It's not like he's just making this stuff up. And again, they're threatening to arrest Americans and prosecute them for posting stuff online. Now, they have been arresting British citizens for posting stuff online about this. Arresting British citizens for posting online that people shouldn't be raping their kids in the streets. You cannot make this shit up. And the stuff I read a court document thing, transcript or whatever, where the guy detailed what he was doing to these children. And I'm not going to repeat it here. It's horrifying. It's really horrifying. And I can't believe that. I guess it's because, well, I'll tell you right now, just thinking about it, it's because of their gun restrictions over there. I was about to say, I can't believe that the prisons aren't just overflowing with fathers. But they don't have guns. They're not allowed to have guns over there like we are. Because I know, maybe not in the big cities and stuff, but in most of the places I have lived throughout my life, if that was happening, then fathers would just, and mothers too. But I'm a dude, so I think like a father. But the people wouldn't. I mean, down here in Central Florida, those dudes raping kids, literally, they would have to go through alligator shit to find their remains. These people would be out there in the swamp. That's where they would be. But I'm just saying that that's what would happen. I'm not saying that that's what should happen. I cannot condone violence on YouTube, and I would not condone violence of any way. But it's just unbelievable to me that an entire nation would just, nobody would just go off. Nobody over there. They're not getting arrested for exacting vengeance upon these shitbags. They're getting arrested for posting about it. And that's just another thing. I believe in the old Western brand of justice in some cases, because in a lot of ways there is no justice in the court system in America, in Canada, in Britain, and so I don't know. People call me horrible for that, but but still, that boggles my mind. How can you call me horrible for saying, for saying that I believe in the old Western brand of justice, and not that it's horrible for these people to be coming over here raping children and going to Britain and Germany and raping their children? They need some Western justice. And I'm probably going to get in a lot of trouble for this. I don't know. I might have to edit that shit out. We'll see. See if it makes it past the YouTube censors. You might be watching this one on Rumble. It's just sickening. I can't believe it that it's happening. They're children. They're children. So anyway, they're pointing the finger at Elon. Like, now it's Elon's fault. He's getting involved in their politics. And he's calling for them to be replaced. He is getting in their politics a little bit. But they've had George Soros and Bill Gates funding their politics, funding their political campaigns for decades. But now all of a sudden they're against foreigners getting involved in their politics. Now, when Bill Gates was stuffing money in their pockets to allow immigration, that's not foreign interference, right? That's okay, because it's lining my pocket. When you're about to make me lose my job because I'm a heinous piece of shit who's allowed hundreds of thousands of children to be raped, now I've got a problem with it. Because I want to keep allowing that as long as it keeps lining my pocket. And that's another thing I'd like to... I've been thinking about the stock market, right? Changing subjects here. The stock market. It just hit me. The stock market, a stock will go down, right, when people are selling the stock. That's what I've been taught my whole life. That's how I understand it. Makes perfect, simple sense. And the stock goes up when people buy the stock. Okay? And this is just food for thought. Okay, if the stock goes down when people sell the stock, who are they selling the stock to? Doesn't someone have to be buying the stock on the other side? Shouldn't the stock go up because people are buying the stock? No, that doesn't make sense. What about the other way? When people are buying the stock, Apple's the best thing ever. I'm going to buy Apple stock. Doesn't someone, by necessity, have to be selling it the exact same amount? They're just changing hands back and forth like this. It's not like they print more stock. I mean, they can, but not to make the stock market go up and down like that. Not to make the value of the stock go up and down. They don't just print stock for people to buy. They can do stock splits and different things, but those are completely different, separate situations. So, where is this stock manipulation coming from? If I buy a stock, that means someone had to sell it. So why does one weigh more than the other? The person that sold the stock doesn't believe in the stock anymore. The person that bought the stock believes in the stock. So how can stock go up or down? And then who says, right? Nowadays, it's probably an algorithm. It's probably AI. But back in the 70s and 80s, who said that this stock, if I saw, think about it, two people working in a room and I see 100 shares of Apple are sold to what's his name and he bought 100 shares. It's just a flat out lateral transaction. And then my boss says, well, Apple stock's going up. And then the next time the exact same thing happens, he says, oh, well, that means Apple stock's going down. Susie sold the stock and Jeff bought it. And if you don't think that the stock market is just a big manipulative scam to take our money, I've got a really nice mountaintop chalet here in Florida to sell you. Ski resort, it's beautiful. Just send me your information. I'll give you my Bitcoin wallet, and you can just put all your money in my Bitcoin wallet. This mountain chalet is something else. You're gonna love it, believe me. At cut rate price, cut rate. Yeah, good deal on it. The stock market is a sham. The Federal Reserve is a sham. Our money is a sham. And it's all manipulated to control us, to keep us buying shit that we don't need from people we hate, who hate us, that want us to die. Literally. I'm not making this up. These are all just facts. They've been quoted. They've written books on it. I think it was George Soros had a book on it that was on Amazon for a while there. I think they've pulled it since then. But the Great Reset, how they were going to get the population down to 500,000, I think. The world population. Or 500 million, rather. The world population. They're just out in the open with this shit now. So I'm not making shit up. So that's one of the things that I would get behind 100% is end the Fed, and I'd get behind end the stock market too. Don't need that shit. It's just manipulation. It's just fraud. We don't need it. If a business cannot operate by the funds that they get from their goods or service, then what good are they? They need to go away. They need to fold and crumble. They are run badly. Hundreds and millions of small businesses around the country are run, they're private. They're not on the stock market. We don't need it. And we'd be better off without it. Now, that is 100% my opinion. And I'll leave you there with that. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and comment. If you want to support the channel by becoming a member, I'll put that link down in the description. Or you can head over to the channel page and become a member that way. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can click on that super thanks button down there. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Or you can head over to Buy Me a Cup of Coffee and buy me a cup of coffee. I appreciate that too, and I'll leave that link down in the description as well. If you're interested in Gen X gear, we got a lot of cool stuff over there at Redbubble, Gen X Thinks and Gen X branded stuff, and I'll leave that link down in the description too. If you can't or don't want to support the channel in any of those ways, please share these videos on your social media. That helps out an awful lot. I sincerely appreciate it. Thank you very much. If you have any ideas for future episodes of Gen X Thinks, please put those down in the comments, or you can email us in the emails over on the channel page. And as always, stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.